can't get any words. Podcasts don't last, giving you the real talk, no holding back. Can't get any worse, we'll make you see. There's always a silver lining. We'll set you free, so join the movement. Let's change the game with the Can't Get Any Worse podcast.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Can't Get Any Worse podcast. Holy shit, are we peaking right now? It's official, ladies and gentlemen. It is official. We finally have a new camera in the studio, and I'm not quite sure if it's set up properly, if it's doing what it needs to do. I've got a red light looking at me, and I don't know. It's kind of good because I've got a screen that comes off the side of the camera, so I can actually see myself, and it's telling me like all the feeds and shit that I need to know. So, as of this moment, as of 30 seconds into this podcast, we're in the clear, ladies and gentlemen. We are in the absolute clear. But on other news, we should just change the name from the Can't Get Any Worse podcast to the fucking Technical Difficulties podcast every week. I'll put the call out there again, ladies and gentlemen. Is there a producer or someone who wants to learn all the bells and whistles and wants to come in here on a Monday and just steer this ship for me, control all this technical shit? Because I've just... to be fair, I spent the first half an hour waiting for the washing machine to finish again. That's just a little peek behind the curtain for you guys. I know. You look at this set and you're like, wow, he must be killing it. He must be in a high-rise building, looking over Brisbane, just going, oh, he owns this city. He runs this city. But no, I'm in a single-car garage that backs onto the laundry. So I have to wait for the washing machine to finish. Otherwise, we get to the end of the load where it's just the washing machine that's like... And I'm sure you guys appreciated that in your eardrums right now. But if it came to a full episode, like if there was a 10-minute stint where I was just like, yeah, so anyway, I was at the public park and then my pants fell down. My dick was out in front of all these kids, and in the background you just heard... It wouldn't be very exciting, would it? It would be a... It would be a distraction, to put it politely, but where was I going with that? Oh, that's right. Oh, my brain is all over the shop, ladies and gentlemen. Right. Just lost my train of thought again. I've been trying every week since we've started the podcast, okay? Maybe episode 1 or 2 we did it this way that I've done today. My laptop has Bluetoothed to the Rodecaster. And when I play the little turns out it can get worse videos for you guys, or I play the motivational clips, it just filters through the Rodecaster so easy. I don't have to do anything, okay? But today, luckily, I've done a little tester before the episode. I've gone, let's check it. No sound. What the fuck? What is going on right now? Try it again. No good. Reconnect my laptop. Do all the steps that Google's telling me to do. Doing every step possible before that last resort of picking up this telephone right here and going, hey, Adrian, I need your help. I'm putting up the bat signal right now. How the fuck do I get these two to speak to each other? But I was like, wait a minute. There is another option. I can run a USB-C cable, I think it is. Riveting chat for your Tuesdays. But at the moment, I have them linked up by cord, and when the episode finishes, I'm going to work out why they're not talking to each other. But we will see when we get to the turns out it can get worse segment if the audio comes through. But the little to no tests that I did prior to hitting record, we're on a winner, ladies and gentlemen. So, new camera. I got a new camera for my birthday. Exciting news. So far, again, I'm looking at it. It's telling me everything that I want it to tell me, so fingers crossed. But the other thing I started doing with it, and you guys will know this as long-time listeners of the show, is I've wanted to do and as much as I hate doing it, and to be honest, that's part of the reason why I wanted to start doing it, because I knew I'd hate doing it so much. But vlogging, so basically bringing you guys to shows with me, just to see what it's all about out there in the real world of comedy, if that makes sense. And in between all those videos, just some maybe day in the lives or just some weird shit that's happened. So this week, first week my YouTube channel's been up. I kicked it off with a come with me to a gig. So what I have labeled those videos as, and to be honest, I'm pretty fucking proud of coming up with this. I've called it Green Room Ride-Alongs. So, as most of you are aware, a ride-along is like sometimes when you can go in a cop car and go on like on patrol with the cops and stuff and see what it's all about. So I was like, not all open mics don't have green rooms, but when you start getting the paid spots and stuff, you get into the green room. So I was like, fuck, Green Room Ride-Along. Makes sense. I was quite happy when I came up with that one. So first episode of that one is up from the Newmarket Hotel last Monday. I think we spoke about that gig last week. So if you didn't hear about that gig, go back to that one. Or was it this week? I don't know. We'll get to it in my week in comedy. I don't even fucking remember. Anywho, where was I going with all that? Oh, yeah. So I put that video up and I said in the video, I'm like, I'd be fucking stoked if this got like 20 views. And absolutely blown away with the reception. And again, when I say these numbers, some people are going to hear them and go, why are you even bothering, you stupid fuck? And to those people, I go, hey, I've been doing a podcast for over 2.5 years with little to no listeners. So welcome to the club, ladies and gentlemen. I have to be one of the dumbest people in the podcasting / comedy scene, but it's these little steps, you know, like I figured if I just start doing all this shit now, hopefully one day when everything kicks off, it's not so like overwhelming and such a burden to me. Like I'm used to it. But yeah, vlog the whole thing. There were moments of the night where I left out of the video purely because I was a little bitch and I didn't really want to record me talking to other comedians and things like that. But yeah, I got a couple of shows this week, at least one show that I'll be doing again and taking that next little step to make them bigger and better. But the other vlog that I put up this week was people that follow my personal socials at Jimmy Misson. If you haven't thrown me a follow, jump on there. Is we live next to some bushland, right? As we've spoken about. Most of the time, that is inhabited by homeless people. But on this particular occasion last week, it lured out a snake. We got a cute little baby snake on our window that I had to remove. Thanks to Cyclone Alfred, I can only assume that it was its normal little home got washed out and it had to come and find a dry space. So it had wound itself around one of our like outside windows, and the boys didn't have school last week. So they gave me a little helping hand and I was like, fuck, this would be a fun thing to record as well. So that's up on YouTube also. If you haven't checked that one out, go check it out. Slightly less numbers than the first one, but still like blown me away. Like as of this morning when I checked, I think we're around the 90 views or something, which is nuts to me. So yeah, go check that out. Had a heap of fun recording it and editing it. And to be fair, I think this vlogging thing was just it was like that little sprinkle of something new that I've needed recently to get the creative juices and stuff like that flowing. Because like when I was a kid and stuff, I used to love chopping together, like obviously the technology back then was not as good as what I'm using now, but just recording random shit and just chopping it all together in a video, dropping some music over the background. So I'm keen to dip my toe back in that world and see what I can come up with. But it's so weird now because there's all these apps and stuff that can do all this for you, like CapCut. Like every time I drop a video, whether it's the podcast or I don't know, like I filmed a couple of skits and stuff probably over a year ago now, and pretty much everyone would just message me and go, oh, did you do this in CapCut? Oh, CapCut's so good, hey? And I'm like, no, I sat there. I sat there for hours editing this myself. But it's good to know that there's an app that I can just drop all this in and it does all the hard work for me and goes, here's a clip that's 1,000 times better than what you've just produced. In 1/100th of the speed it took you to do this. So fuck you. Oh, yeah. What do we got coming up next? So, yeah, Cyclone Alfred, we touched on it last week, but I basically got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday off work last week, which was it was actually a nice treat. It was well needed. And the boys had Monday, Tuesday off, and then they had to go back Wednesday. And I'm like, well, hey, if the kids can go back to school, surely I can go back to work. But our workplace had power outages, so even if we went back to work, we'd just be sitting there with our dicks in our hands, like getting bored of our own dicks, you know? Like I'd be going, hey, can I borrow your dick for a second? I'm so sick of this one. But yeah, it was nice to have a week off. Let me re-center myself, you know, and just get on top of a few things. And finally went to the doctor and got a whole multitude of tests and things like this done, right? And I said a couple of weeks ago, I'm like, I've done some research. I think I have a rough idea of what might be going on. And get this right, went to my doctor, put everything on the table. I go, this is what's happening. Fix me. And he's gone, oh, okay, I'll send you for this, this, and this. And I've gone, hey, you're the professional, but any chance you could send me for this test as well? And he goes, no, I don't think so. I don't think you need to get that. And I'm like, look, I understand you saying that. I respect your opinion 100%. I'm going to go and do all this shit that you want me to do. But is there any chance we could just get this one little test done since I'm getting blood tests and stuff anyway? He's like, really don't want you to get it. Yada, yada, yada. And I'm like, all right, fine. I'm like, but is it going to cost you guys anything extra? Is it whatever it is, I'm happy to pay. And he's like, no, I just have to tick this box and then it gets picked up on the bloods anyway. And I'm like, sweet, let's lock it in. He goes, all right, fine, let's do it. 10 minutes go past. He's on his computer tip-tapping away. And then he prints out the thing for the blood tests. And luckily I did this, but I looked at it and I was glancing through it and I'm like, oh, the test I want done's not on here. And he's like, oh, yeah, I just don't think you need it. And I've gone, I get it. I 100% get it. But like we said 10 minutes ago, if there's no harm in getting it, why not try it? Anyway, go get the blood test. 3 days later, they call me. They go, hey, doctor's got your results. Do you want to come back and have a bit of a chat with him? And I've gone, okay, sweet. I rock up. I get in the doctor's office and, oh, God, this was satisfying, ladies and gentlemen. What I'm about to say was potentially the most satisfying thing that I've experienced in the last 12 months or so, right? I sit down in the doctor's chair and he goes, everything's come back pretty sweet. And I've gone, oh, okay, what could be the problem? And he goes, except for one thing. And I've gone, oh, what's that, doc? And he goes, the thing that I asked him to go and send me to get tested for, he goes, that's come back and you're pretty low in that. And I've gone, excuse me, doc? Give me your white jacket and give me a PhD because I am fucking Dr. Missing over here. And he goes, all right, calm down, young son. And I go, all right, hey, I'm not going to boast or anything, doc. You're the professional here. I'm just a stupid cabinet maker that jumps in his single car garage, as we spoke about earlier in the episode, talks about his dick and depression into the camera. And then once he's done there, he jumps on stage and he tells everyone how small his dick is. That's all I am, doc. I'll let you give the diagnoses and things like that. But hate to tell you I told you so, but I fucking told you so. So that was so nice to rub into his nose. But then, I don't know, maybe I came across too confident and cocky because he goes, before we do anything, it could just be... oh, fuck, I hated him for doing this. He goes, it could just be a one-time thing on your blood test this time. It could have just come up just for the fun of it. He goes, I'm going to, we'll wait a week or so. I'll send you to get a retest. And if it comes up bad again on that one, then we'll look into it. And I've gone, all right, I guess I can't win them all. So if that's what you want to do, doc, let's lock it in. So stay tuned for that one. I can't lift the lid on it just yet, but yeah, it was nice to get a little win over a doctor. I don't know if you guys have experienced that before, but I've spoken about it before. Like the luck that I've had with doctors, they just don't seem to want to prescribe me anything. Like I don't know if I walk in and I give the vibe of a junkie or something, but they just like, it's so hard to get a doctor to help me out. But anywho, is what it is. Stay tuned on that. Let's get into some fucking crazy stories from this week. Just a couple of quick and easy ones. And these might even like, depending on the reaction I get from these, some of these could even go down as premature premises, but especially this one. This one cracked me up, right? So I went to our local Woolworths and I was cruising through the car park and it was chaos, right? There was cars going everywhere. And because of that, I've seen a guy in his car with his wife in his passenger seat, and I'm standing there waiting for them to go past so that I can cross the road. And as he's turned the corner to get into the car park, his front wheel has cleared the curb, but his back wheel has nicked the curb, like gone up onto the curb, and then he's driven off the curb and just this big fucking bang that this car made. And I was like, oh my God. And I've looked into the passenger seat, like looking at his wife, and I'm waiting for her to fucking flip out, right? Because I know that's what Nikita would do. If I bump a gutter or I do something bizarre in the car, it's like, oh my God, didn't you see that? You're a fucking idiot. Like, and then I go, do you want to drive? And she goes, no, I'll keep scrolling. You're doing well. So I've looked in the passenger seat waiting for this chick to ramp up, right? And she's looked over at her boyfriend / husband, and they've both just started laughing as if it was a fun experience. And I was like, holy shit. I wish I could experience that once in my life. Just the pure joy of an accident rather than the fucking hit the gutter and then cower in fear, just pressed up against my driver's side door going, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. So I don't know. I don't know if I can do anything like that. I'm thinking about just making it like a tag in a longer joke. Just something like that, you know what I mean? But another crazy, not really crazy thing, but another awkward thing that happened this week. I officially know what it's like to get a cum shot in the eye. Yep. I didn't misspeak then, guys. I woke up early last week, getting ready to go to work. And hey, maybe it's because I had half the week off. I was a little sleepy still in the mornings. I wasn't used to the early wake ups. I walk into the bathroom, I brush my teeth, and recently, like Nikita works at what's it even called? It's like an aesthetic dental clinic or lab or something like that. And they do like all fake teeth and stuff like that. And she said a rep came in and gave them a heap of water picks. So if you don't know what they are, they're basically like a big fucking electric toothbrushy looking thing. And it's got a little water spout on the end. And it's basically just like flossing, right? But it just shoots water jets in between your teeth. It's fucking sick. I love it. First couple of times it did make my gums bleed and I was like, oh, geez, this can't be good. But just turn the settings down, anyone that's playing at home. Anyway, I've walked in, I've brushed my teeth in the dark, half asleep, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to give myself a little treat. I'm going to do a bit of water picking before I go to work. And as I've reached down to pick the water pick up, my thumb has accidentally hit the on button and straight away this little water jet just started fucking pulsating into my eye. Like I copped 5 to 6 fucking cum shots in the eye before I even realized what was going on. I'm just reaching. Jesus Christ. I know what it's like to be a chick now and just like be reaching for a towel or something with my face just covered in jizz. Oh, God. If that's not the clip this week, then I don't know what comedy is, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, what else has happened this week? That's another good one. Told you, these are quick and easy. I'm just brushing on them, okay? Went to school pickup last week, picking the boys up, and this mum, she rocks up to school pickup and she's one of those mums she's happy-go-lucky. She's saying hey to everyone, getting the goss on everyone. And her daughter runs up to her with another little girl, probably friend or whatever. And she's like, hey, girls, how are you? Just being the cool mum she is. And she's making small talk with them. And then in the midst of all this happiness, okay, the other little girl looks down at the mum's feet and she goes, oh, my God, my dad has those shoes. And the happiness from this mum's face just left immediately. It went to a sad frown as if to say, holy shit, am I that much of an ogre that I wear men's shoes? And she's like, come on, we've got to go. We're in a rush now. Like she was ready to settle in for the whole afternoon at that school pickup. But as soon as a little girl came up to her and said, hey, lady, you've got fucking man's feet, she was like, all right, we're out. I'm not fucking coming to school to cop this shit. Fuck this school. But yeah, I got a bit of a joy out of that. Now, the other thing this week that I established is Westie's basketball team is, remember when you were a kid and you used to you get that box of chocolates or lollies and you'd have to go around your local neighborhood, door knock and try sell them all, like fundraising or whatever. So Westie got that, and this just ties in a little bit to where this story's going, okay? Is while we were doing that, Nikita and I followed them, okay? Because obviously you can't send your kids out in the real world these days without the fear of abduction and shit like that. So would stand at the end of the driveway, would send Parker and Weston, and the neighbour's kid came along as well. and they'd go do their cute little, hey, do you want to buy some chocolates for $3? Yada, yada, yada. And to be fair, like Nikita and I were like, our street is a waste of time to do that. Like, it's not really the friendliest street in the world. Like, if you see a neighbor, you sort of do a polite wave or whatever, but none of us are going out of our way to talk to each other. So we're like, oh, don't do it. And they were just so keen for some reason. So we're like, all right, let's give it a crack. So we get on our way. And I would say 90% of the houses we went to fucking bought something. I was blown away. Like, Westy sold all the chocolates the day, no, they were lollies. I don't fucking know. He sold them all the day we got the box. I'm like, I thought this was going to be like a full-time job for me. Like, he was going to get over it, and then I'd have to go pound the streets and be like some seedy weirdo and be like, hey, do you want to buy some lollies for my scouts? But luckily we didn't have to do that. So hats off to Westy. Where was I going with that? Oh, that's right. So I noticed this while we were pounding the streets is almost every house now has either a Ring camera at their front door or CCTV cameras all around their house, okay? And again, I'd probably say 9 out of 10 houses on our street scattered with cameras, which is good for security purposes. But the thing that I realized my kids are going to miss out on is one of my favorite childhood pastimes, and that is knock and runs. They used to be the scariest / funnest things you could do as a kid. And Westy actually said that. They called it lame, like they called it the American one. So we were cruising home from school pickup, and Westy's like, oh, can we go do ding dong ditch on the neighbour's house? And I'm like, oh, don't ever say that. It is knock and run. But like, I knew like the neighbours have a Ring camera. They got CCTV. So at that moment, I realised like that just takes all the fun out of it for the kids. They're never going to experience going up to a stranger's house, knocking, and then just sprinting for your life. The fear. Like when you're a kid and you knock on someone's door and run, you're like, if they catch me, they are going to murder me. Like, that is how much of an offense it is to knock on a stranger's door and run away. But realistically, they just open the door and go, fuck these kids. So yeah, I was going to go on another tangent with that, but I completely forgot. What was I going to say? I don't remember. But, it was this. So, I don't know. That then took me into another state of, frame of mind. I don't know. But another thing that we did at school was the dental van and the life ed van would always come to school. And our whole lunchtime would just be knock and runs on the dental van or the life ed van. And this is how brutal our school was. You would convince one of your mates to go up there, and then while they're cautiously tiptoeing up and they go to knock, 2 of us would go beside, like creep up behind them, and we would cork both their legs. Oh, fuck. Would cork both their legs so they would drop to the ground. And there's just something about you and 5 of your mates sitting behind a bush, just pissing your pants, watching another one of your mates try and army crawl for his life before Harold the giraffe just opens the life ed van and goes, come here, kid. I'm going to teach you a thing about drugs and alcohol. I'm going to fucking teach you about stranger danger today, you little fuck. Anyway, is that about... Oh, I got one more story. Let's do this one. So Parker, him and Westy have started like... They've got to that point where they've started fucking around on the trampoline a fair bit, and even on like Nikita and my bed. And they've started to do front flips and stuff. So it's pretty cool. Like, I'd never had the balls when I was a kid to do that. So watching them throw their bodies around, I'm like, Jesus, I would not do that. But Parker can almost do it to land on his feet. Like, this kid needs to get into gymnastics or something. It's wild what this kid can do with his body. And on top of all this, he started watching like a little bit of wrestling now that it's on Netflix. Like, not as much as like I used to when I was a kid. But he would, if I'm laying on the bed or something, he'll just come up and he'll just start doing elbow drops on me. Like, launching himself and just dropping his elbow into my stomach or something. And I'll go, fuck, like, it'll kill. But the only thing that he says whenever he's doing any sort of like wrestling or punching or anything like that, he just repeats the phrase, I'm John Cena. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, do you know what John Cena says? He's like, I'm John Cena. And I'm like, no, he says like, you can't see me. And then he waves his hand in front of his face. He's like, I'm John Cena. And I'm like, I'm like, you're making him sound like he's a retarded Pokemon or something. Like John Cena got a head injury early into his wrestling career, and now the only thing he can walk around and say is, I'm John Cena. And I'm like, bro, you need to relax. Learn a better catchphrase or something. But that's pretty much been my week that was. Let's rip into my week in comedy, ladies and gentlemen. Look at that. I didn't talk about Newmarket last week because it was Monday and I would have already recorded the podcast. So let's rip into the Newmarket Hotel gig. Let me have a little sippy sip. Oh, yeah, that is some good bottled water. I need to go get some more today, which is annoying. But anywho, Newmarket Hotel, sit-down comedy club, the first one that I went and vlogged. So if you want a little bit of a peek behind the curtains of how this gig was and looks and things like that, the video is up on YouTube at Jimmy Misson on YouTube. And yeah, it was a fun one. I was nervous as fuck, not necessarily because of the gig, purely for the sake of like carrying a camera around. And I don't know, it's just a weird thing to do, you know? Like, do I think I'm Kanye West or something? Like, the footage that he has when he was starting out his rapping career is pretty insane. And like, hopefully I get to not Kanye's level. That is insane. But just like to look back at it in 10, 20 years or something and be like, oh, fuck, I remember when I used to pound the Newmarket Hotel every week. So yeah, go check it out if you didn't. In terms of the gig, so a couple times ago, maybe 2 or 3 times ago, I did the Newmarket Hotel. I came on here and I said I had to follow an autistic dude that dropped the N-word, okay? Now, I've rocked up to the gig, and who do I see in the front row? This same comedian. He's there, and I'm like, oh, surely sit-down's not giving him another shot. And I was 4th or 5th or something on the lineup, and he is talking through all the other comedians' sets, and I'm like, fuck, like, I wonder what's going on. Anyway, the person before me, they call him up, and he jumps up on stage, and I'm like, holy shit, I've got to follow this dude again. So I start peeking even more. I'm like, is he going to drop it again? Like, I'm trying to think of things that I can say to bounce off someone just dropping the N-word. And this guy gets into his set, and I don't know if Sit Down had a chat to him, and hats off to them if they did. They must have had a chat to him and gone, look, you can't say this. Let us help you get 5 minutes together. I don't know. Whether or not that happened, he seemed to have a better idea and a better understanding of what to do up there this time. And for 4 minutes of his 5-minute set, he was going relatively okay. And then he had a brain blank, okay? And I spoke a couple of weeks ago. I had one of them, and you hit every panic button in your brain, and all of a sudden, he starts the N-word joke. Like, he starts saying it. He must have just hit a panic, and that was the only thing he could remember. And I've gone, no, this cannot be happening. And the sit-down sound tech must have realized as well. And he just starts flashing this guy. He's flashing. And luckily this guy hits the eject button before he drops the N-word again. And he said a little like one-line joke or something, and then he fucking jumped off stage. And I was like, oh, thank you, God. But then for the first minute of my set, he was just over there talking to the other comedians as loud as he could about how he couldn't remember his jokes and stuff. Thank God one of the other comedians was like, dude, you got to shut the fuck up. And yeah, I had a bit of a good set. And I think the reason I had a decent set is thankfully the first joke that I did, stupid little cum joke, and one of the girls in the crowd called out her friend. She's like, oh, that's you, Mia, or something like that. And I was like, oh, Mia, do you want to tell the crowd what that's all about? What was that sneaky dig for? And then they got awkward and stuff. So then every time I'd hit one of my immature dick joke punchlines, I'd just revert back. I'd go, am I right, Mia? And the crowd would just fucking lose it even more. And it was good. It was probably only the second or third time that I've ever done that where I've like backed on the back of all my jokes with a little bit of crowd work, tying back to something that's happened in the show. So that was fun. But yeah, I think that pretty much covers it up. It was a fun gig, good gig, always is. I think I may have just realised I've left a gig off my... We'll touch on that at the end of the episode anyway. But the second gig I had this week was at Hoda, Home of the Arts down at Southport. Got cancelled a couple of days before the gig. Apparently there was a double booking or some shit like that. Not with me, with the venue. Hang on, just got a random mess. Oh no, that's all good. That can wait. So yeah, didn't get to do Hoda. I'll be back there in a few weeks. We're trying to work out when they can slip me on another show. But that's been my week in comedy. Let's rip into Turns Out It Can Get Worse. And this is where we're going to see if I fix the audio issue or if I'm a fucking idiot. So let's wheel my little laptop over. And what do we got first? Let me scroll down up here. This is why I need a in-house person so I don't have to have these clunky transitions. All right, we are starting with this bad boy. This has been going around the internet this week, and I was like, it would not be right if I do not bring this to the people of the Can't Get Any Worse podcast. So let's see what this gentleman's got to say. It looks like he's standing next to a mannequin with 2 baby dolls on his lap. So let's hit play.
Well, I am a loser. Look at me. I'm 50 years old. I'm a 50-year-old man.
Come on, mate.
Still living in my parents' basement.
It's not that bad.
Acting like I'm married to a mannequin. And I think that these are my kids.
Whoa, that's child abuse.
These are dolls. These are toys. They're not real kids. They're not real kids. I'm a loser. I'm a failure. I've never moved out. Living in my parents' basement with a beautiful mannequin. I love her so much. I do. I love you, Emily.
I love you, Emily. Look, I don't know if that's more sad than it is funny. Like, I feel bad for the guy. And to be honest, this is how I've felt the last couple of weeks. How this guy is acting in this video. Those are the level meltdowns I've been having off the camera. But yeah, I feel sorry for you, mate. Hopefully things get better. Tune into the Can't Get Any Worse podcast and hopefully things can turn around for you. But this one I was pretty happy with. I commented on this one, got a couple of likes on my comment, so I figured I'd bring it here and repeat the process. Hopefully you guys like it as well.
If you're a pretty girl on here, just give me one little chance. It won't hurt nothing. If you don't like me, it's fine. Just give me a chance.
All right. We've got a lovely man there just reaching out for some female love. But holy fuck, if that is not the man from the Mad magazine come to life, then I don't know what is. He's a dead ringer for that bloke. Oh, shit. I just fucking might have made a balls up there. Anyway, let's get back. All right. This is where, look, if I didn't have the epiphany back in the day of starting stand-up and comedy, this is where my life would have been headed 110%.
$20. Oh, hold on. You didn't tell me how many times I had to try. Oh, I just...
Yeah, your shit ringing.
Is it?
Your shit
Am
ringing.
I?
Shit, you tell me.
Okay. Bet you can't drop me for 50. You heard me? You think you're gonna drop me to 8?
Just betting people to knock them out, whether it's by beer bottle or fist. But fuck me, that 100% would have been me back in the day. Like I said on the podcast, that time we were at a party with the grade above us and they were like, oh, you can't scull a 6-pack in, I don't even remember what the stupid time limit was. But I just started slamming these beers and then I was getting frustrated because they weren't opening them quick enough. So I just started snapping the necks off the beers and just like drinking the beers. Like that is where I was at, ladies and gentlemen. And then luckily, I'm now here talking to you guys. You guys be the judge. What is better? Talking to 3 people every week on this camera or sculling glass and beer? I don't know. But let's cap it off with this one. I brought 4 to the table this week just because not that one. I already watched that one. Just because I couldn't pick which ones I wanted to play and not. But here's... I feel these guys, you know what I mean? Just trying to get some content out on the internet. So let's see what these boys are going to do.
All right, guys. This is me getting bear sprayed.
Mel, get the fucking belt! Get the fucking
You want a rag cool?
Yes!
Do you want a rag? Fuck me, that is insane. What people do for clicks is nuts. But I remember the good old days where getting bear sprayed was just when a guy would jizz on your face, like a fat, hairy gay man would just jizz on your face, and that's what would call bear spray behind the gay club. Oh, God, that's a joke, ladies and gentlemen. That is a joke. We all know the only cum shots I get are from my fucking water pick in my bathroom in early mornings. But that wraps up Turns Out It Can Get Worse for this week. Let's rip into... I just wanted to bring some... It's been a while since I've brought some, like, artists to the table, okay? Like, normally we touch on music, sport, movies, TV shows, whatever. But this week I have just... My whole Spotify... I reckon these will top my Spotify rap list this week just by the amount of times I have played these 4 songs on repeat. So let's kick it off. I've spoken about this guy on the podcast before. His name is Honest AV or Honest Av. I don't even know, but go check him out. And his songs are just so real and fucking like raw. And his voice I'm obsessed with, okay? And he's not your like... He's not your well-trained rapper or things like that. He's just this bloke having a go. And the meaning behind all his songs, like he's released another one the last couple of weeks that I just can't stop playing. And it's called Growing Pains. Go check that out. But it's so good just about how he feels like a loser and everyone that he knew back in the day have like, they're all successful now, yada, yada, yada. So rung true to me. Go check that out. Another one, I only discovered this guy literally this week, and I've not been able to stop listening to a heap of his songs, but his name's Cameron Whitcomb, okay? And he's a young, up-and-coming, not necessarily country artist, but he's got a bit of country about him, okay? He's maybe country, folky, I don't know. Go check him out. You'll know what I mean. But 2 songs, go listen to these 2 just to get a vibe for what he's for. 100 Mile High and Options. Listen to those songs, and if you like those, you'll like pretty much the rest of his back catalogue. So Cameron Whitcomb. And the last one, this one completely took me by surprise. His name is Alex Warren, okay? And when I was watching him pop up on my TikTok every second video, I'm like, this dude looks oddly familiar, but I don't know where from. And then it clicked. Nikita and I watched this Netflix show, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago, I suppose. And it was called... It was called like Influencer House or Hype House. It was called Hype House. And there was this like chubby dude on there, and he just seemed to, he wasn't the cool dude of the group. He just seemed to do content that everyone else wanted to do, if that made sense. Anyway, he's released this song. Turns out he's like a fucking got this incredible voice, and he released this song recently called Ordinary, and he wrote it about his wife. Again, touches on the love joke that I need to write Nikita still, but wrote this song for his wife, and it is just an insane song. So go check out Alex Warren, Ordinary. And yeah, it was fucking absolute banger if you're into gay little love songs for your wife. But anyway, the last thing, I haven't watched this yet. I'm waiting. I said this in a Facebook group recently, got like 0 comments or anything in the back end of it because, I don't know, maybe I was speaking too much facts or something, but Bill Burr released his latest special this week, but he's released it on Hulu instead of Netflix. Now, a lot of the bigger guys are jumping ship from Netflix, whether it's to do with money or just testing waters elsewhere. But there's a couple other comedians in the next month or so that are releasing specials on Hulu as well. Now, because I'm a cheap cunt, I don't want to pay for the Hulu membership. So I'm just waiting until all the specials I want to watch are released. And then I'm just going to get like the free week or whatever you get and just watch them all then. So the little clips and stuff that I've seen on social media, it looks like typical Bill Burr, just telling you an idea that you should disagree with and just backing up why he's right. So there's a reason why he's gone down as one of the greats. And when he's all said and done, maybe he will be one of like the greatest. Who knows? But I haven't seen it yet. But for those big comedy fans that listen to this, go check it out. Don't fucking spoil it for me, even though I'm sure by the time I get around to it, it will be spoiled. Last thing for the week, we've got a bit of motivation for you guys. I don't think we've had this the last couple of weeks just because I've been a little B-arch, but let's hit play on this. This is from the man himself, The Rock.
It's a choice. You'll get through it. Wake up. It's a choice to be happy. It's a choice to be sad. So come on, like buck up.
Right.
You got this. Move on. When a lot of times you just wake up blue and you don't have that choice, and it's not that easy. You just don't turn it on or turn it off. And I also realized as I went down the road, once I started to realize what it was, why I felt I didn't want to do anything, why I was emotional about things. And now I can tell young men, young women, kids, students, older people, doesn't matter. Hey, it's your superpower. It's okay. Talk about it.
Right.
Be open. If you're feeling blue, if you're feeling fucked up, if you don't have the answers, even if you don't know why, because a lot of times, sure, there's a thing that this thing happened, therefore I'm depressed. But a lot of times people just wake up and the skies are gray.
Yep.
And you don't know what to do. And one of the most powerful things you can do is, number one, know you're not alone. Know that if you're experiencing it, there's a lot of other people out there experiencing it too, and talk about it.
Hats off to The Rock there. That was a not necessarily motivation for you guys, but yeah, it was a cool little clip that I saw just of someone of that level going through some shit as well. So I've just had to pull my calendar up here because I feel like I may have missed a gig. Where are we? What's today's date? 12th. Oh, no, that gig is next week. Okay, we're all good. So let's wrap up the episode, eh? Gigs this week, I've got The Cellar at West End for Guilt-Free Comedy on Wednesday the 19th. I'll be vlogging that whole thing, but if anyone wants to come along, say g'day, jump on the vlog. Be greatly appreciated. Other shows to plug, we've got Distillery Road Market, Sunday the 30th of March. That is a free show if you want to come and check out a spectacular lineup of comedians. I'm emceeing that one. Then we've got the next West Park Productions one at the Orion Hotel on Friday the 4th of April. So the last one sold out for that. This one is looking pretty well similar. So if you want to come to that one, we've got a killer lineup starting to take place for that one. So it'll be a fun show. Just at the back end of this, just wanted to thank everyone for sharing last week's episode. We got, some good downloads. Definitely the best we've got this year. So thank you to anyone that did share the podcast. Keep doing it if you can. Genuinely appreciate all that. But yeah, I've just starting to take a bit of a looser approach. Like this episode is 41 minutes. Trying to lose the whole, it strictly has to be a 1 hour. Like I'll just get in, say what I need to say. If we fall short from the hour, so be it. And then some weeks I might come in here and just fucking roll over the hour. But I'm hoping that comes out as better quality content for you guys rather than me fucking sitting in here rambling for no real reason other than to hit like the hour mark. Same thing with like this camera. I was trying to set it up so that I had the whole thing in the background, the sign, everything. And I was like, doesn't really matter. Like fucking get it nice, tight, close to me. That's all we really need. I can just drop a logo if I really want to in a corner somewhere. But I'm trying to loosen up, trying to find the fun in it again. So again, thank you to all you guys that have shared it, things like that. If you want to get in touch with the show, just to talk to me in general, or if you've got a Turns Out It Can Get Worse clip to bring to the show, send it to me via DM on Instagram or via email at cantgetanyworsepod@gmail.com. And yeah, let's keep growing this motherfucker. Appreciate you guys listening, and I will see you later.
Can't get any worse, will make you see. There's always a silver lining. We'll set you free, so join the movement. Let's change the game with the can't get